Imagine coming home from school or from work and seeing that dinner is already on the table. Not because anyone told you to, but because someone in the house just knew. They read the room, handled it, and no one made a big deal out of it. That was just Monday. That was just life. And now, as an adult, you find yourself hesitating to ask for help, almost as if it's impossible. Why? Because of what happened long before you were even born. Your parents, especially those born between 1965 and 1980, Generation X, grew up differently. They came home to empty houses. They raised themselves. They solved problems alone because there was no one around to guide them, to support them, to notice if they stumbled. And when they became parents, they tried to do better. They showed up more than they had. They were more present. But habits run deep, and nervous systems don't forget overnight. Without meaning to, without even realizing it, they pass down something to you. It wasn't neglect. It wasn't trauma in the classic sense. It was quieter than that. A blueprint. A way of moving through the world that said, handle it yourself. Don't take up too much space. And whatever you do, don't fall apart. And here's how it actually got handed down. Gen X parents didn't just silently live out these habits. They spoke about them, constantly. When I was your age, I walked home alone every day. Nobody checked on me. We figured it out, and I turned out fine. Those weren't just stories. To your developing brain, those were instructions. That was the definition of strength, of adulthood, of who you were supposed to be. And because you loved them, because you trusted them, you built yourself around those instructions. You took their survival manual and made it your own personality. Here's what that looks like now. First, you solve problems before anyone even knows there's one. You learned that from watching your parent. They didn't call for help, they handled it themselves. And when you did the same, you were praised for it. That praise wired something deep inside you. Now, your first instinct is to fix it quietly, alone, before telling anyone. Second, receiving feels strange, uncomfortable even. But giving, that comes naturally. Your parents showed love through doing, through action. And at the same time, they told you that needing too much was weakness. So giving became safe. Receiving, not so much. Third, resting feels almost guilty. Your parent was busy, productive, efficient. You heard it enough times to start believing it yourself. Rest is something you earn, not something you just take. And so your body, even now, doesn't quite know how to be still without tension. Fourth, you hate being a burden. Deep down, you learned that needs should be small, quiet, controlled. Your parent carried everything alone, rarely complained, and when you did express a big need, the gentle response taught you to shrink it next time. So you did, over and over, until needing nothing felt like the safest version of yourself. Fifth, you genuinely believe you prefer doing things alone. You probably heard, if you want it done right, do it yourself. You listened so many times it stopped sounding like advice and started sounding like truth. But there's a difference between choosing solitude and never being shown that depending on someone can be safe. Here's the truth. Your Gen X parent did the best they could with what they had, and you've been doing the same ever since. But here's something you need to hear. You don't have to keep running that old program forever. You can ask for help. You can let someone else carry some of the weight. You can rest without guilt. That's not weakness. That's just something you were never taught. And it is absolutely not too late to start learning it now. Because the real strength isn't doing it all alone. It's knowing that you can reach out and still stand tall.